Hello and welcome to this episode of the Modern Music Mixing course. In today's episode, we're going to be working on vocals, so quite a fun one. And we're going to be going over certain topics such as how to create a convincing automatic double track. We're also going to be talking about the importance of clip gain and also going over the vocal processing in general and all that good stuff. Let's get into the session. The first thing we're going to do here is we're going to go through an A-B of the entire vocal stem. I'm going to play you it with no processing at all, and then we're going to add all the processing in all at once and take a listen to what we're going to start with and what we're going to end up with. So here's what we started with.
Fullest, you and I will spend our days happy. You and I have the world. If I fall, you'll catch me. If you fall, I'll catch you.
And here's what we're going to end up with.
Fullest, you and I will spend our days happy. You and I have the world. If I fall, you'll catch me. If you fall, I'll catch you.
Okay, so the first thing I want to show you here is the vocal ADT effect. So ADT stands for automatic double track, and it's basically an artificial way of creating an effect which sounds like there's more than one take of the instruments. In this case, we're talking about the vocal. So what we're trying to imitate is that there's a vocal in the middle and there are two other vocals left and right on the speakers. Now, what I do want to show you first is what an actual doubled vocal sounds like. So this is a real doubled vocal you're about to hear. I'll play it for you now.
I'll be there for you if you need me. I'll be there just for you. I'll be there for you if you need me. You know I'm there.
Okay, so that was the real doubled vocal, and now I'm going to play for you the fake doubled vocal.
I'll be there for you if you need me. I'll be there just for you. I'll be there for you if you need me. You know I'm there.
Okay, so there is our vocal ADT effect. Not bad, doesn't sound bad at all. I'm going to show you how we did it. So I'm using a plugin here called Snaphead. And Snaphead's a really useful plugin because it essentially has these strips like you can see here. And what you have is this option to make these strips parallel or serial. So if they're parallel, it's essentially splitting the signal and processing it separately. And if it's serial, it essentially means those signals are then being summed and being processed together. So here, to give you an example, this, because it's checked here, it means it's in parallel. So we have one parallel bus here and we have another parallel bus here. That's essentially the lead vocal being duplicated across those two parallel buses, and we're processing them very slightly differently. Then after those two buses are processed differently, they're then being brought together in this serial bus 2, where we've got a little filter, a limiter, and some stereo control just in case we need that. Now, let me firstly clarify what exactly you need to make a good vocal ADT effect. And what essentially you need, I'm just moving my notes here, you essentially need to think about what actually happens with a real vocal double. So with a real vocal double, you have obviously the lead vocal and you've got two other separate takes that were done. And the differences between those takes will usually be pitch. So obviously you can't sing exactly the same pitch the second and third time round, can you? It's obviously going to be a little bit different. So you need to have a little bit of pitch variance. The second thing that we're going to concern ourselves with is timing. Now, obviously, you can't sing perfectly in time 2 times or 3 times. You're going to have some slight variation with your timer where you come in earlier on one take, come in later on another take. And the third thing we're going to concern ourselves with is the dynamics. So you're not going to sing everything at exactly the same level. There's going to be things which you sing louder, and there's going to be things that you sing quieter. And with that, there is a fourth thing which we're not going to worry about right now, but there's also going to be slight what's called timbral differences in the vocal. So maybe one vocal is a little bit softer, maybe another vocal is a little bit more intense and a bit brighter. So there's that to think about as well. We're not actually emulating that here. So let me go through those three main points that we spoke about: pitch variance, timing, and dynamics. So for pitch variance, I'm going to start here with our pitch shifter. And what we're doing is we're essentially processing the pitch using a LFO here. So you can see this little dots tracking around here. So the peaks represent we're sharpening the vocal, and the troughs represents we are flattening the vocal. So you can see it's kind of this sinusoidal pattern, and essentially this bus is being processed with this pitch fluctuating. So we're fluctuating the pitch here. On the other bus, we're fluctuating the pitch using this LFO. So it's important that we use two different LFOs so that we're getting slightly different pitch between the two. And what's something that you need to keep a sort of mind on, if I say it properly, something you have to keep an eye on, I should say, is when the LFOs kind of converge, you want to be careful, because then the pitches are close enough that it will just sound like the same take. So you want the LFOs to be different as much as possible. So you can see here we're sharpening a lot more than we are in this phase of this LFO. So that's essentially our pitch variance sorted. The next thing we're going to talk about is the timing. So what we have is two delays here. We are controlling that using this over here. Let me just move this across. Yeah, we're controlling this over here. You can see this little LFO is more of a spiky one. It's just jumping up and down like this. We've got it set to 10 milliseconds, but that's actually fluctuating with this LFO. So the timing is actually changing as the track goes on. It's fluctuating maybe between 10 milliseconds, maybe 8 milliseconds to 12 milliseconds, somewhere around there. And this one we set to 15 milliseconds, and this is being essentially changed here. So this is probably fluctuating between maybe 12 milliseconds, 10 milliseconds to just under 20 milliseconds, something like that. So the timing between the left and right channels is also being fluctuated here. The next thing, oh, and I should mention, when you move a delay like that while the track is playing, it also acts pitch variance. I should say it also adds pitch variance. So as you move the delay shorter or longer, it's going to make the pitch sharper or flatter. The next thing that we are going to show you here is the transient shaper. So this is where our dynamic variance is coming from. So we have this attached to this LFO, and it's essentially, you can see here, the attack, it's going up and going down. So this is going to make it so the certain notes on this parallel bus are coming in with a sharper attack or a softer attack. You can see on this one, it's more randomized instead of this one, which is smooth. That means it's going to be different to what this is doing, which is what we want. So that's what we have done with Snaphead. We've created a very realistic ADT vocal effect, and here's what it sounds like.
I'll be there for you if you need me. I'll be there just for you. I'll be there for you if you need me. You know I'm there.
So in here, we've also done a few controls, which I do want to show you. We actually have a macro control, which is, what's this controlling gear? Left pitch variance. So what, let's see. So this is actually going down to here. So as I bring this up, what it's doing is, you might be able to see this little bit here. It's essentially making it so that it's varying to a greater amount, and I'll demonstrate what that actually sounds like. So you should be able to hear it go more and more dissonant as I bring up this knob here.
I'll be there for you if you need me. I'll be there just for you. I'll be there for you if you need me. You know I'm there.
Yeah. So you can hear it coming in quite a lot there. Let's see what happens when I put them both up. So this one is controlling this little area here. Wish I could speak today. And this one is controlling this little area. I've put them both up to the top, so it should sound pretty awful right now.
I'll be there for you if you need me. I'll be there just for you. I'll be there for you if you need me. You
Let's bring them back down.
I'll be there for you if you need me. I'll be there just for you. I'll be there for you if you need me. You know I'm there.
Oh. Yeah, so it sounds really bad if you put it too high, of course. But having that fine control is quite important because then you can tune it in and get more of a difference between each of the vocal takes in terms of the pitch. We also have a control for the dynamic, a control for the time. So as I bring this up, it's going to make it more of a delayed sound. I'll demonstrate that now.
I'll be there for you if you need me. I'll be there just for you. I'll be there for you if you need me. You know I'm there.
So that's essentially our timing control here. And then we have a tone control, which is just a nice convenience filter here, so that when we're bringing that ADT in, we can pick essentially how much top end we want. One of the common problems you can get is when you have like consonant sounds like f, k, t. These types of sounds, you can get this doubling effect with the consonants. So sometimes just having that option to bring it down with that tone filter is quite good. So that's in there too. And then we just have a limiter so that we can essentially level the two double tracks nicely so that they're nice and even, which I'll show you now.
I'll be there for you if you need me.
It's already working right
I'll
now.
be there just for you.
But I'll turn it up to accentuate it.
For you if you need me. You know I'm there.
That's heavily limited.
I'll be there for you if you need me. I'll be there.
And then, of course, just a stereo there. So, for instance, if we wanted this to be mono, we could just bring it down like that.
I'll be there for you if you need me. I'll be there just for you. I'll be there for you if you need me. You know I'm there.
I don't like it when you set it too wide. You kind of get a little bit of a strange artifacting when you do that. So, keeping it around 100 and just using it as a sort of option to make it more mono.